Welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on WakeUpCallDT.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on MixLR.com/WakeUpCallDT. Proud to be here with you and appreciate your patience this morning as we get set for an incredible Friday broadcast of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. Happy to be here with you, and Cafe Kubal here with us in our community. Fill your cup up right today with your favorite coffees as well as your chais and teas from Cafe Kubal, made here in-house, and I appreciate it so very much for all that Cafe Kubal does for us. You can get their incredible sandwiches as well as their snacks and, of course, those amazing desserts at any one of their locations. Cafe Kubal proudly serving you on 3501 James Street as well as 401 South Salina Street, both in Syracuse, New York, inside of Golisano's Children's Hospital in downtown Syracuse, and on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners at their drive-thru location. And, of course, you could find them at 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, in their giant behemoth of a brown-striped building. So however you're connecting with Cafe Kubal, make sure you go out there today and fill your cup up right. We have a fantastic show set up for you inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin'. We have an incredible show, and you can get your popcorn ready and kettle corn ready by going to MaandPazPopcorn.com. That's MaandPazPopcorn.com. You can order anywhere in the country, and they will deliver all their awesome treats to you. And if you didn't have Ma and Pa's yesterday, then you didn't get to throw anything at the television or up in the air when you were watching those games yesterday for the NCAA tournament. And there's nothing like watching a game, having the kettle corn there, right? And just seeing a team like St. Peter's, Richmond, New Mexico State. Insane the things that have happened here. And we'll get into all of that today inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin'. We're going to start off the show with the annoying moment of the week, as we always do every Friday. The annoying moment of the week, also called AMOW for the shorter version, the acronym. Annoying moment of the week is going to come to you today, as always, from Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York. It is what happy tastes like. And then we'll jump into Lead. Learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver. Lead coming to you from Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. And Juanita Ward, my co-host for the segment, and I will be speaking today on what it means to be the precedent. To be the precedent. We'll be talking about that. Then the top dog of the week is going to be celebrating those teams that busted a lot of brackets, especially the third one that I'm going to mention, Richmond, New Mexico State, and St. Peter's, all making it happen in the round of 64, day one of the round of 64 in the NCAA Men's Division I tournament. So very excited to talk about that as we honor our top dogs of the week, these three teams inside of what is truly March Madness. And the top dog of the week is presented by K9 Camp Dog Daycare and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding. We'll finish off today's show at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time, as we always do. Inside of the second hour on Fridays, we bring you our Pacer Pride exclusive sit-down specials. And I have had the incredible opportunity to spend some time this week with Sister Mary Persico, the president of Marywood University. And Sister Mary and I got to sit and talk about a lot of different things, get to know who she is, what leadership means to her, how you build a successful community, and how you work together when you don't always agree, as well as what makes her tick. And speaking about her faith, so many amazing things are coming up with Sister Mary Persico, and I am honored and privileged for the opportunity that we get to tell her story and the story of Marywood through the lens of their 12th president, Sister Mary Persico, today at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time here on Wake Up Call. I cannot wait. I'm very much excited for it. So looking forward to sharing that with you with Sister Mary Persico, and I thank you, Sister Mary, for your time. So with that being said, it's time to jump in to the annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street. It is what happy tastes like, and it is one of my most favorite things to do, and it comes to you every Friday to start off the show right around 9 a.m. Eastern Time. We have the opportunity to bring you the annoying moment of the week. And so with that being said, I'm excited to do that for today here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life.
Dan Tortora proudly brings you...
Is that for real? Are you kidding me?
The annoying moment of the week.
I don't know how to respond to this.
Presented by Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street. It's what happy tastes like.
You have to be that crazy. I guess so.
The annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt. Okay, this I want to believe is not true. I want to believe that this can't happen. But we're going to discuss it because I read this and, of course, I'm seeing this is insane. So I'm going to take a look at this and we're going to talk about this. This happened within the last couple days here. The United States Senate approved a bill to make daylight savings time permanent. Now, they passed legislation on this week. This person doesn't even have the date right. Okay, so they passed legislation this week. This makes the story even worse that the date is wrong on the day that it happened. But anywho, oh no, I'm sorry. I was reading it wrong. My apologies. But here we go. So, daylight savings time permanent starting in 2023, ending the twice annual changing of clocks in a move promoted by supporters advocating brighter afternoons and more economic activity. The Senate approved the measure, calling it the Sunshine Protection Act. I want to be clear with the world here, folks, okay? I want to be muy clear with you, okay? Muy claro. So, it's to say it in Spanish. I have thoughts. I have a lot of thoughts. I didn't know that we could tell the Earth, we could pass a bill and go, hey, Earth, we would like a little more sunshine, so we're going to do this act, and science has nothing to do with it. You know, how many years have people said, oh, this person doesn't believe in science? Well, apparently, the United States Senate also does not believe in science. So, do I like turning my clocks ahead? You know, no, I don't like losing an hour of sleep, but it's part of the year, okay? It's what happens. It's called, I don't know, it's science, right? You know, because the sun is shining and then it's not. And so, you know, it's how the earth is rotating and tilting on its axis and what time of year it is and whatnot. And so to me, well, let's get into more of this and then I'll give you more of my thoughts. But this to me seems idiotic because it's the science of it all. I love having my clocks fall back. Love that. Don't like moving them forward. That's never a joy of my life. But the Senate approved this thing called the Sunshine Protection Act unanimously by a voice vote. The House of Representatives, this is insane to me. Okay, so the House of Representatives, they have to pass the bill before it goes to the president. The White House has not said whether or not the president supports it, and the House Speaker said that she was reviewing it closely. It wouldn't take place until November 2023 after input from airlines and broadcasters. So apparently I'm a part of this now, being forced to talk about something I don't necessarily understand. So Marco Rubio said, quote, I know this is not the most important issue confronting America, but it's one of those issues where there's a lot of agreement. If we can get this passed, we don't have to do this stupidity anymore. Pardon the pun, but this is an idea whose time has come, end quote. So the National Association of Convenience Stores have opposed it, telling Congress we should not have kids going to school in the dark, end quote. So this is where we're at. Since 2015, about 30 states have introduced legislation to end the changing of the clocks twice a year, with some states proposing to do it only if neighboring states do the same. The House Energy and Commerce Committee held a hearing on the issue where Frank Pallone, a representative, said, quote, the loss of that 1 hour of sleep seems to impact us for days afterwards. It also can cause havoc on the sleeping patterns of our kids and our pets, end quote. I don't know what any of this is insane. So at the hearing, Beth Mallow, a director of the Vanderbilt Sleep Division, argued that daylight savings time makes it harder to be alert in the morning, saying, quote, is like living in the wrong time zone for almost 8 months out of the year, end quote. Now, Pallone cited a 2019 poll that said 71% of Americans prefer to not have to switch their clocks twice. Oh, nobody prefers to do it. I would put out a poll there saying 99% of people don't prefer to be in traffic. So what are we going to do? Pass a bill that says like Happy Car Act and get rid of traffic? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. So daylight savings time has been in the United States since the 1960s, after being tried first in 1918. Year-round daylight savings time was used during World War II and adopted again in 1973 in a way to reduce energy use because of an oil embargo, and repealed a year later. Now, the bill would allow Arizona and Hawaii, who do not deserve daylight saving time, to remain on standard time, as well as American Samoa, Guam, the Northern Mariana Islands, Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. So, here is where we are this morning. It is called, again, the Sunshine Protection Act, where Congress or the U.S. Senate has made the decision. They've made the decision to get rid of daylight savings time because we want more happy people to have more sunshine. Okay. Well, there's places in the country where it rains a lot and it's cloudy a lot. So they're going to have more time of rain. I don't understand how and I understand that not everybody observes daylight savings time, but I don't understand how we can change that in the world. I don't understand. It's science, right? As it gets closer to winter, the days get shorter because of science. I mean, the days don't get not short. The sunlight time gets shorter. Let me be clear, so people don't get weird. Well, people get weird anyways. People are weird. So, but daylight okay. In the summer, there's more sunshine. In the winter, there's less. It's science. It's what the sun does and what the earth does and how we rotate and how we turn. It's science. You know, I don't understand the world we live in today. If you don't like it, change it. I'm waiting for them to stop giving grades to kids in school and being like, everybody passes because they tried. Hey, Billy, what's 1 + 1? Apple. Good job. You get to go to second grade. Like, I mean, this makes no sense to me whatsoever. The Sunshine Protection Act, we're not protecting sunshine. We don't have control over sunshine. So this makes absolutely no sense to me. This is completely idiotic. It's ridiculous. And by the way, Congress, I think there's other problems going on in the United States. I'm not 100% sure, but I venture to say, I am 100% sure, I'm being facetious, but gas is $5,000 a gallon, and I refuse. $4.25? Are you on drugs? A couple of years ago, it was $1.99. Before the presidential switch, it was $1.99 in the last year of President Trump. Now with President Biden, it's $4.25. And people want to cite this and this and this and this and this. And I tell people all the time, I don't care who you voted for. I don't care who you voted for. It's $4.25. It doesn't matter who you vote. It's $4.25. It's $4.99. It's $7. They said in central New York it could go up to $8 this summer. But thank God we saved daylight. Thank God we protected the sun. When we're awake enough to go fill our car up for $8.15 a gallon, that's nonsense. That's crazy speech. It doesn't make any sense. So I'm happy you took care of the sun. I'm happy you looked at the sunshine protection because the sun needs to be protected. And guess what? You can't protect the sun. We can't protect the sun. The sun and sunshine, that's God's decision, right? That's science. You know, that it's not our choice when the sun is shining. If it's cloudy, if it's sun, it's not, you know, I'm waiting, you know, we have passed a bill that there will be no more winter because we have decided we don't like cleaning off our cars, and cleaning off cars depresses people. So, when white stuff falls from the sky, we will no longer call it snow. We will call it... What was that? What do you want to call it? You think so? Yeah. Okay. So, because we don't believe in snow anymore, when the white stuff falls from the sky, we will call it the tears of children, because who likes those? And we will no longer be icing the roads because we don't believe in snow or ice anymore. And because we don't believe in it, it doesn't exist. I mean, this is essentially what this is. Because we don't believe in it, it doesn't exist. It exists. You know, there is a time during the year where the days feel shorter because the sun goes away quicker. It's just reality. You know? People don't like changing their clocks, so we're getting rid of it. People don't like paying high gas prices. People don't like having health insurance that hinders them and hurts them more than it helps them. People don't like unsafe neighborhoods. People don't like the fact that there's not enough cops out there because of everything that's happened recently that makes people feel like they can't be a cop because there's already a negative stigma. People don't like growing up in a bad neighborhood. People don't like the cost of education. People don't like the fact that Mets charge you $11 for your beer. You know, there's a lot of things that people don't like. There's things that I don't like. You know, and you can't change everything. And if you're going to change something, change the gas prices. If you're going to change something, change the way, you know, change the fact that people don't feel safe and equal. If you're going to change something, change how expensive it is. You know, I'm happy that you all decided, you know, that it's okay for inflation to cripple the country, but it's not okay for the sun to go night-night sooner than you want it to. Well, I'm going to tell you something, Congress. You can't force the sun to stay awake. You can't force the sun to do anything. If the sun wants to do something, the sun's going to do it. That's how it is. That's what it is. I mean, I am baffled by this. I understand that not everybody prescribes to it. I understand that, you know, for Arizona and Hawaii, this means nothing to you, allegedly. But I also understand the fact that there are so many things going on in this country that we need help with. By the way, there's a country attacking and demolishing another country before our eyes, and we're doing pretty much nothing about it. So, you know, it's just, there's so many things that are so much more important than this, and this makes genuinely no sense whatsoever. I'm happy you took a poll that says most people don't like changing their clocks. And most people like sunshine. I would call that common sense. And I would really appreciate if the people running our country, I'm happy that they showed that they agree on something, but I cannot understate that gas in central New York is $4.25. This is not Los Angeles. Okay? This is not Philadelphia. This is not New York City. This is unacceptable to me. It's unacceptable to the nth degree. Also, another annoying moment of the week, I want my plastic bags back in the state of New York. Do you know how hard it is to find something to fit in your bathroom with your little, you know how you have your little bathroom trash area, your little bathroom garbage pails, the mini ones? You put a plastic bag in there, it's perfect fitting. Walmart bag, Wegmans bag, perfect, right? I went to Pennsylvania where life is still free, and they had plastic bags, and I was like, do I get to keep these? I didn't have to tell them how many I took. I didn't have to pay for them. And they existed. Do you understand how many paper bags I have in my house? It's insanity. And when I have to put trash out, I take the paper bag, I put the trash in there, and I staple it, and then I hope that the trash people will pick it up because we don't have enough plastic bags. You eradicated plastic bags. Well, there's pollution. There's pollution with anything. Are you going to eradicate cigarettes? Are you going to eradicate water bottles? Are you going to eradicate soda bottles? Are you going to eradicate freedom? Because that's what you're trying to do. I mean, 6-packs still come with the plastic around them, right? And those are the things that choke fish in the ocean, right? How about this? Instead of getting rid of the things that hold on to our soda and the bags that carry our groceries, why don't people just become more personally responsible and stop polluting? If you take something away from a person and say you can't pollute with a plastic bag, they'll pollute with gum. Because the problem is pollution. The problem is lack of personal responsibility. The problem is lack of care. It's not plastic bags. It's the idiots that throw them in the ocean and throw them out their car window. That's what it is. The problem is people. Per always. The problem is not the plastic bag. Plastic bags didn't do anything to anybody. You know? So, how about this? Arizona and Hawaii, they don't regard daylight savings time as a real thing. The state of New York does not believe in plastic bags. Does that mean that they don't exist? No. It means that the czar that oversees our state doesn't think that our trash cans should have bags. What are we supposed to buy? I'm supposed to go to the store and get $4 or $5 bags that are fitted for, and every trash can's different. Every trash can's a different size. Every trash can has a different design. They're little and mini. It's ridiculous and it's stupid and it's wrong. Okay? So they're my annoying moments of the week because they make no sense. Plastic bags aren't the problem. People are. And stop telling me that you got to raise gas prices for whatever reason you're telling us. Supply and demand in this. It's winter. It's winter. Okay? Most of us do not want to travel if we don't have to. So it's beyond me that we're in the place that we're in right now with so many things that we have right now. And the Sunshine Protection Act, fantastic. This is a joke. This sounds like kindergartners made it. It's like, hey guys, what do you want to do? You guys got to come up with a bill to pass. And a bunch of 6-year-olds go, we want to protect the sun. And then they draw a picture of the sun, and they have a rainbow, and it's beautiful, and it's cute, and it's kids, and it's awesome. But for adults to say that daylight savings time isn't a real thing because you decided it's not, that's the world we live in today. It's not real because I don't want to believe in it. Okay. Good luck with that. As you lose your identity, you lose yourself. So there's a war going on in Ukraine, but we passed a bill to make sure that people don't have to change their clocks twice a year because it inconveniences them. Wonderful. With that being said, here at Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, that's your annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt. And we appreciate Carvel for all that they do. Whenever there's a moment that's annoying or any moment that's difficult for you, make sure you head off to Carvel DeWitt and get yourself an amazing, amazing treat. They are what happy tastes like. And we got something new coming to Carvel DeWitt, and I cannot wait to unveil it. We're going to be doing that very, very soon, and I'm ecstatic about the opportunity to bring that to you. So, with that being said, Carvel DeWitt, open 7 days a week, all throughout the year, every season. Don't let the cold weather fool you. Carvel DeWitt is with you all the time. On 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York. And those incredible cakes and everything they have to offer are so amazing, second to none, and there is literally no substitute. Head out to Carvel DeWitt today. We'll take a step aside for a fast break, and we'll be back with Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver. Very excited to bring that to you. Proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. Right after this, from inside the Cafe Kubal Studios, this is Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Kubal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafekubal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Kubal needs. Cafe Kubal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on WakeUpCallDT.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on MixLR.Facebook.com/WakeUpCallDT, and on Facebook.com/LiveNowDT. Happy to be here with you inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. You can fill your cup up right at Cafe Kubal at any one of their locations. And make sure you head out there today to 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners in North Syracuse, as well as by going to 3501 James Street and 401 South Salina Street in Syracuse and in downtown Syracuse inside of Galisanos Children's Hospital. And we thank them for all that they're doing for our children, God willing, creating miracles every single day with the hand of God guiding them. So thank you to all you do at Galisanos Children's Hospital. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, it's time to get into Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-lib, and Deliver. The opportunity to speak with you in a segment that is dedicated to learning, evolving, ad-libbing, and delivering here. And I'm always happy to have a Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay bringing that to you as they embody faith forward. They're unapologetic about it, excited to share it, and the community that they help to bring together is really incredible. So with that being said, I'm here with Juanita Ward, as always, in Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora's Lead, brought to you by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. Today, speaking on the topic, Be the Precedent. And with that being said, I welcome Juanita into the show. Juanita, how you doing?
Hey, Dan, how's it going?
It's going well. And Juanita, before we jump into being the precedent, when you were on the show last week, we were talking about the fact that you had an opportunity to do a book signing and to become the first woman to be put on the wall at a barbecue spot that's out there near you. And it's been such an honor for you. I know it was a big event and something that you were very excited to do. So coming off of that event, just bring me into, what it was like to be out there with the community, to make history, and to, be able to share in a moment that I'm sure was truly special for you.
It was just so awesome, Dan. I mean, I'm just completely humbled and blessed by that opportunity. I call every last single opportunity that I get a God opportunity because he made a way. He made a way for it to happen. And, sometimes you never know. Your words are so powerful. You never know what will happen. When you speak certain things, you never know what will happen. And, it was just so surreal. It's just so awesome. Just meeting new people and, having that moment in time. I mean, I'm looking at the wall and I'm like, oh my gosh, all these famous, men up on the wall. This is wow. But where's the woman? Where are the women? Where are the women? And so I just thought it was so awesome for Tim to, put my picture up there on the wall. And it was just incredible, just to share that moment with my family and to share that moment with my church family and friends. And I just thought that it was extremely awesome, just to have that opportunity, and I always say this, every success that I get is a success, not just for me, but it's a success for others as well. It's a success for my church family. It's a success for my family. It's a success for my friends. And so I think the most important thing is we have to learn how to share the success, and we have to learn how to, be grateful for every single opportunity. And this is one that I'm just extremely humbled by. It was just absolutely amazing and incredible. The outpour, the people that came out, to sign the book, there's so many books, I signed so many poster autographs. It was just absolutely amazing. And so, God is good.
And being able to, do that and have that, there's something that was on my mind this week, and it's the topic of today, and it's be the precedent, be the precedent, be the first. Don't look for somebody to necessarily have to show you, but learn it with God. And you are the precedent. You are the precedent at this restaurant. You are the first woman to be up there on the wall, and you get to make that history. You get to come in there 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and see other women that are up there, and to see all the men and women that are up there, and people that you inspire. Steve can walk in there 10 days from now and say, wow, she's really an inspiration. I came out to the book signing, and, I'm going to go after what I want, and Juanita helped me get there. And then we could see Sheila come through, and Sheila say, wow, I've come into this restaurant 100 times, and I've never seen a woman on the wall. And now I feel like I'm being represented. So you know what? I'm going to go out there and chase something. Maybe Sheila's daughter, maybe Tammy says to herself now, you know what? Because of Miss Juanita, I'm going to get on that wall. So being the precedent, it's a hard thing to do, but it's very rewarding. And the thing about being the precedent for me is that you get to shine a light to someone else, right? God shines his light on you, and you say to God, thank you for this light. But then I say, how can I shine it on somebody else? How can I take what you gave me and pay it forward? Being the precedent gives us an opportunity to go after what we want the way we want to go after it by the grace of God, and at the same time to shine a light on somebody else. So going off of your event and what you got to do, there's the reality of that you are the precedent, and in being the precedent, Juanita, what that can do for days to come, months to come, years to come, a lifetime to come, can help to give someone else the belief in themselves that they can do it too. So being the precedent may be difficult, but being the person that starts the domino effect can also aid in helping somebody to believe that they can do it too.
That's so true, Dan. It's it's one of those things where as a child, you ask your child, what do you want to do when you grow up? What do you want to, and you hear someone say, I want to be the first this, I want to be the first that, I want to be this, I want to be that, and it's whatever it is that child or that person wants to do it. We don't have many opportunities anymore to think about, I want to be the first at something, because our minds are so overcrowded with everything else that's going on in the world. Some things you cannot control, and you only can control what you can control. And what can you control is to leave an imprint on this earth, to leave an imprint everywhere you go. And that is something that should be ringing in everyone's head. Every single time you walk into a place, people should remember who you are based off of how you act in that place, based off of how you represented yourself in that place. And I believe in order to be, a history breaker, I believe in order to be a history maker, you have to be the person that understands that it's okay to stand alone. It's okay to, not go along just to get along. It's okay to, have your own opinions and your own understanding, because the reality is everybody don't see what you see. Only people see what you show them after you've already shown them what God has shown you. Because when God gives you the vision, he doesn't give the vision to you and to everybody else. He gives you the vision, and then he also tells you, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to give you the vision, but I'm also going to give you the provision to make it happen. And that's where everybody else gets to see the reality of this is history making. This is history breaking. You're doing something that's special. When I was overseas in Israel, I was the first female to, make history over there. Broke history in Israel. Because when I put my mind to it, something great happened. I saw something that had not been done before, and I was like, you know what? Why not be the first to do it? My challenge and my question, if you will, Dan, is to every single person that's listening and every single person that's going to come back and listen to this. Why not be a barrier breaker? Why not be a history maker? Why not be the first to do something? Why be like everybody else? When God did not make you a duplicate, he made you an original. So do something that somebody else isn't doing. That's exactly what my father told me when I was getting recruited. He said, there's 1 million basketball players. There's a whole bunch of females that are trying to go to college. But what's going to set you apart that will make these coaches look at you?
And when you see the opportunity to create, I thought about it before too, and I remember growing up, people said, what do you want to do? I said, I want to work on movies, I want to do music, I want to be a sportscaster, I love doing comedy, I love making people laugh, maybe I could do something with that. And they're like, well, pick one. I said, no. And they said, why? I said, because I want to do them all. I didn't stutter. Well, nobody else has done. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. Will Smith was a rapper and an actor. He didn't have a precedent. Nobody was exactly like him. And, had a sitcom and then had movies and rapped at the same time. But he did it. Well, why did he do it? Because he believed he could. And so I always, I looked at that and I said to myself, and I've been saying it pretty much my whole life, why not be the precedent? If it doesn't exist, then bring it to life. I've never been the person that's like, oh, hey, there's that paved road that somebody else made. Let me walk down it. Even if I wanted to, God was like, nope, turn to your left. I'm like, why? He's like, because you got to cut through the brush. I was like, but God, there's a road right here. And he was like, yeah, Daniel, and I need you to go through there and make a road. I don't even ask him anymore. I just look up, shake my head, grab the machete, start cutting through that tree and go, okay, we're making a road now. Let's get the cement. Let's do what we got to do. I welcome it now because I believe that going out and going after what you want, there's a rarity to it. It's very rare to find true love. When you find it, you know that you have something so dear. When you create something, it could be anything. It could be a canvas that you painted. It could be a shot that you made that you've been practicing your whole life. You know, Juanita, you make those awesome trick shots. There's people that make awesome paintings. There's people that, you know, I've been singing my whole life since I was 3 years old. I just discovered, I may be finally discovering my voice, because the way that I sing now and where I find it to really show me, it's a different feel to it. And I've been trying to maybe go here and trying to go there when I was in this place that I had to find. And I found it by just being passionate about the music. So what can I tell people about being the president? I've done it my whole life. And I don't do it for accolades. I don't do it for spotlight. I don't do it for people to commend me. I do it because in order to live the dreams I want to live, there was no blueprint. And when people want to pigeonhole you and put you somewhere, I know I don't belong there. So I tell people, I said it last night, I said, God and I worked in the trenches daily. Him and I. And to go off of something we talked about recently here, you know, when people are like, why don't you give yourself credit? Because he was with me. We worked together. I always say it's 1,000,000% him, 0.0000001% me. But him and I are there. And to build this company, him and I believed in it more than anybody else. To do what we're doing today and get it out to people and believe it will, him and I believed in that. It's been him and I. I've had people close to me in my family that were like, do you really think, you know, I mean, there's people that were extremely close to me, are extremely close to me. And the day of my graduation said to me, are you sure you want to do this? And I said, do what? Are you sure you want to go into the media world? Are you sure you want to go into like broadcasting and all of that? And I said, why? And they said, well, I've done some research, and it's really, really hard and competitive to get into. Do you think you can do it? And I remember saying, well, I graduate in 2 hours. Thank you for your timely message. And yes, I do believe I can do it, or else I wouldn't be graduating with a bachelor's in doing exactly that. So, you know, I think being the president means that you have an opportunity to do what most people say they're going to do. And that's paint on a canvas that's bare. And to trust that that painting may not be understood by everybody. Some people may walk right by it. Some people may see something totally different. But that you know that that canvas that was pure white and had nothing on it has now become something. And it became something because you were willing to pick up the paintbrush and trust yourself. And trust that God would guide the brush as you figured out a way to do it. Nothing looks completely like you think it's going to be, and nothing's ever 100% what you had planned. But when you're the president of something, you're not looking for somebody else to tell you it's okay to be a singer and a broadcaster and a comedian and, you know, in the movies or TV or screenwriting. You're not looking for someone to say, Juanita, you know, I'm a mentor, and I'm an author, and I'm a motivational speaker, and I've worked in the church, and I play basketball. You're not looking for anybody to do it, because by the time you find them, you've wasted time. The best way to live your dreams is to have the faith to do it with God, no matter what it looks like, no matter what people think of it, and no matter who's tried to do it before. Because the reality of it all is, nobody will ever paint your canvas the same way that you will. Even if you try to copy it, it's going to be a little bit different. And that's the beauty of it. And I love being the president because I want my life to have my signature on it. And it doesn't have my signature on it if you're trying to, and that's why I don't like when people say, who's the next LeBron? Who's the next Michael Jordan? Who's the next, you know, Lisa Leslie? Who's the next, you know, who's the next? I mean, here in the community, when we look at, you know, fantastic people that we've had come out of our community, and we say, you know, who's going to be the next Jim Boeheim? who's going to be, the next coach that's going to be. You don't want to be the next. You don't want to have that happen. I don't want the next Cheryl Swoops. I want Juanita Ward. So I think it's imperative for people to know that in our own way, we're all a precedent, because we should never want to be the second best at anything.
Great point that you bring up, because I was going to say exactly what you were going about, being the first at something and not being the next at anything. Like, who's going to be the next? And people used to ask me all the time, oh, you're going to be the next this, and you're going to be the next that, in basketball, or you're going to be the next this. Or, I would get told quite often, you got big shoes to fill. And I would say all the time, well, I don't wear those size shoes. My size shoe is my size shoe. My size coat is my size coat. I wear that size. I'm not practicing hard to be the next, that person or whoever that professional athlete is. I'm practicing hard just so that I can leave my imprint, on the game, And yes, it's great to have role models for sure, because I had them as well growing up. But the thing was, I didn't want to mimic my game after them. I wanted to mimic my game after what I just practiced for all those long hours. I used some of their, methods, practicing methods. I used what I read in their books about, having tenacity, being, having the eye of the tiger, being determined, being dedicated. I listened to those things. But obviously I was never going to make the move that they made. I was never going to speak the way that they spoke. I was never going to walk the way that they walked. I know a lot of people that, look at Michael Jordan's walk and they're like, oh man, I'm going to walk like Michael Jordan. I'm going to walk like Mike. Well, you can't walk like Michael Jordan, because that's Michael Jordan's walk. You may have a similar walk, but it's never going to be Mike's walk. Get your own walk. Walk your own trail. Walk your own steps. Because when you walk your steps, people will probably want to say they want to walk like you. But then again, you got to tell them, you will never be me. You may be similar to what I have, but you'll never have the same as what I have. And that's how God is. That's what he tells us. We have the mind of Christ. We are created in his image. But here's the thing. We're not him. We have to live our own life through him. And we have to be guided through the blood of Jesus. And we have to know that it was only one person that came here that died on the cross for us. We have to take what he did, and it was such a big statement. Nobody else has done what he did. And we have to look at that every single day and say, you know what? If our father was a history maker, if our father was a history breaker, if our father stood for truth, if our father stood for justice and purity and right, why can't we do the same thing? If our fathers say that we could be anything in the whole entire world, why don't we believe that and do that? I believe that the world has gotten caught up in believing what other people believe about them. What do you think about you? Better yet, what does God say about you? He says that you're strong, you're mighty, you're courageous, you're fearless, you're unique, you're fearful, you're fearfully, wonderfully made. What does God say about you? You're the head and not the tail. You're above and not beneath. What does God say about you? You're strong and mighty. You're courageous. You're in love beyond love. And what you think is not an everyday type of thing. The wisdom and the knowledge that you gain from understanding and studying the word is just so much more powerful. What does God say about you? Because what God says about you every single day gives you a presidential statement. It gives you a platform that nobody else has been on. We may be in the same family, but it doesn't mean that we have everything the same. A twin may be a twin, but they for sure are not the same person. They look similar, but one has his own mind, the other one has his own mind. One wears this size shoe, the other wears that size shoe. One likes to dress this way, the other likes to dress another way. There are similarities in identical twins, but not both of them are the same. When we're talking about leaving a mark and making a statement and being a history breaker, what is it that sets you apart from someone else? And not necessarily do you have to be a history breaker and go, well, I want to get my picture, because everybody's going to get that. But you know what everybody does get? Every single day they wake up, they can create history. They can be the first to smile. They can be the first to open the door. They can be the first to spark a conversation. Be the first at doing something good. Be the first at paying it forward. You're in the line and you're getting you some food. Pay for the person behind you. 2 cars behind you, 3 cars behind you. So many people complain about what they don't have, but yet they waste time doing things that they don't need to do. They waste money doing stuff that they don't need to waste. Money owned. We are blessed beyond measure. We have more than enough in this world, in this country. We have more than enough. We waste too much time doing things that we don't need to do. We don't ask ourselves anymore, is it something that we want, or is it something that we need? Only God knows what opportunities he's going to open up. If you trust him, you'll be put in the right place at the right time to speak words that will help you get a great opportunity. Because in order to do something great, the vision lives on the inside of you and not in someone else. Someone else can tell you all day long, I see that you're going to do this. That's great. But if I don't see what you see, then that vision would never come to life. God puts the vision inside of you. And the vision that lives in you, he will give you a provision. He will give you a plan on how to implement it. And it's great for somebody to see something in you that you don't see inside yourself. That's great. That's great. Because eventually, what they see, you may not see it right now, but eventually, God will bring it to life. What are you going to do every single day with breaking history, with making history, with doing something that somebody hasn't done in this day? To be a history breaker, you have to be courageous, fearless. You have to know that you are strong and mighty. And you have to be okay with hearing no's. Because, Dan, for me, no does not mean no. The only thing that actually means stop is the stop sign. But no does not mean no. No means next opportunity. And if you can have the mindset that it doesn't matter if you ask 10 people to do something, be okay with getting one answer out of the 10. Because that one person that said yes, that one person was purposed. That one person was meant. That was a divine connection. And that was God Divine's purpose. So be okay with hearing no's. Because every great person that made a sacrifice heard 1,000 no's. Think about Jesus. How many no's did he hear in his lifetime? How many doors did he get? How many people spit on him? But yet he went on to be the most historic, the most powerful, the most undefeated, the most famous, the great I am, the best to ever do it, the best to ever live. If he can do it, you can do it too. Because being a child, you follow your father.
It's a beautiful thing to know that no matter what happens in life, the parent that gave you the opportunity is never going to fail you. He's always going to be there. He always wants to talk. He's always available. He never hangs up the phone on you. He never forgets about you. He never yells at you, swears at you, puts you down, calls you names. And even when you feel bad about yourself, he never sits there and says, you're worthless. God is what we look for in other people. God is the ultimate precedent. Only one to do it. You said it. People want to be what? Champion. Undefeated. MVP. There's one undefeated. There's one MVP. And what people don't understand about the world is that God already won the battle you think is happening. Oh, there's good versus evil. I see the devil. I see God. There's war. There's poverty. There's this, that, one. God already won. He's got this. You're his kid. And he's always there. I've learned that sitting at a table with God and nobody else, no matter how many people I have in my life, no matter how much love is there that I appreciate, I always take time to sit at my table with God. Because our conversations, with no offense to anybody, they're the best. They're fun. And he reminds me of who I am. Now, the blessings in my life and the people in my life, they help that to happen. But that one-on-one with God, that's what changes the game. Be who you are. Be proud of it. Work for what you want. Get after it. And know that you're always learning from the OG, the ultimate MVP, the undefeated master of the universe. If you're learning from the best, take the lesson. With that being said, Juanita, as always, I appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Dan, man. It's always a pleasure, man. I love you, man.
I love you too. I'll talk with you soon.
Take care.
Take care. That coming from Juanita Ward here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. So excited for all that we have coming up here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and thank you as always for being a part of the show. Of course, this is Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver, brought to you by Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. Remember, God is undefeated. God can never be defeated. And in the world that wants to tell you and make you lose your identity, remember who you are. And if you ever forget, go back to the one who made you. Besides you, nobody knows you better than God. God knows you better than you. You may not believe that, but go back and look at some of the lessons you learned. He was trying to tell you something, and you probably were not trying to listen. I know I wasn't. I am now. And I love you, God. We'll take a step aside for a fast break here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. When we come back, the top dog of the week times 3 is honored. Richmond Spiders, New Mexico State Aggies, St. Peter's Peacocks. The madness of March is here. And it waited about 13 seconds to get here. This tournament, in my life of watching it, in all the years I've watched the tournament, which I know for a fact is at least 27 years of my 36. In all the years of watching the NCAA tournament, this season, in my opinion, I don't care what anybody else says, in my opinion, this may be the year where it is more open than it's ever been. COVID brought a lot of strife. It also, spin it to a positive, all the things we've been through the last 2 years, COVID kind of in an interesting way, even the playing field. There's a lot that's come in sports through COVID that has aided in the fact that we don't know who's going to win. Seeding doesn't matter. And March Madness has become an understatement of what we may see this time around. We'll be back right after this on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. Can't wait to talk about it. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Kampground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Kampground and where your dog will be staying in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Kampground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9Kampground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and Kampground spelled with a K.com. K9Kampground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Kampground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout Central and Upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. As a patient, what do we want? To be cared for, to be listened to, and to have someone walk us through the process on our path to victory. Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics does all of those things beautifully, with Dr. Mark Petropoli leading the team on 791 West Genesee Street in Skaneateles, New York, located minutes from beautiful Skaneateles Lake. Whatever your injury may be from head to toe, preventative care, rehab, physical therapy, laser therapy, and surgery are all available at Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, where they care about us, they listen to us, and they understand that everyone's path to victory is a little bit different. Let them help you on yours by calling 315-685-7544 to make your appointment today. That's 315-685-7544. And find out more information at victorysportsmedicine.com. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on WakeUpCallDT.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on MixLR.com/WakeUpCallDT. You're also watching and listening live worldwide on YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT, Facebook.com/WakeUpCallDT, and on Facebook.com/LiveNowDT. It's time to hop into the top dog of the week, and for this week we have 3 top dogs, and I'm very excited. Could have more that I'll already have ready for next week, depending on what happens today. Here is our incredibly awesome segment. And I say it's an incredibly awesome segment because it's led by incredible people at K9 Kamp Dog Daycare and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding, the place to bring your furry-loving friend for short and long-term care. K9 Kamp Dog Daycare and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding, right around the corner from each other in East Syracuse, right off of Bridge Street across from the BJ's. K9 Kamp Dog Daycare. You can go to K-9kamp.com for more information. That's K-9kamp.com for more information. So make sure that you do that. You can also call the dog daycare for K9 Kamp Dog Daycare by picking up the phone and dialing 315-437-7110. That's 315-437-7110. And for the campground dog boarding for longer-term care for your dog, whatever size, whatever breed, you can give a call to K9 Campground Dog Boarding by calling 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. So make sure you call them today or go to kampground.com for more information on the campground. So, with that being said, very excited to have you here today with us as we proudly bring you from K9 Kamp Dog Daycare and K9 Campground Dog Boarding your top dogs of the week. Take it away, Lily Girl. Top dogs of the week. The logos are right here with the top dog logo, and those top dogs are the Richmond Spiders, the New Mexico State Aggies, and the St. Peter's Peacocks. Your bracket, I would imagine, unless God has opened your eyes to see the future, or you have an almanac because you went like Back to the Future and were able to Marty McFly this thing, I would venture to say most of you, if not all of you, did not have maybe 0.0000000000000000001% had St. Peter's. But some of you had Richmond, some of you had New Mexico State, most of you, I would venture to say, did not have the St. Peter's Peacocks. They are our top dogs of the week, this entire group, because they did an amazing, amazing thing, which was make March truly mad, crazy, and exciting in all the best of ways. The world's gotten crazy enough, but March Madness is a reminder, after 2 years of it not being the same, not having it 2 years ago, last year having it still with restrictions and this, that, and the other, to have what we have now is to have a return to the madness, and the madness has not disappointed in its return. The Richmond Spiders taking down the Iowa Hawkeyes, and I talked about the fact on how the Big Ten gets so much love from the NCAA Selection Committee, but I don't necessarily agree that they need to have this, that, and the third in there. You know, half of their conference, more than half of their conference in there. And so I wasn't sold on the complete strength of the Big Ten, Iowa being one of those teams. I believe somebody had Iowa winning the national championship. I was going to pick Richmond. This was a tough one for me. Richmond, you got me. Hard to pick Richmond after what they did to my hometown of Syracuse, New York years ago when they were a 15 seed and they took down 2-seeded Syracuse. But the Richmond Spiders have done it again, make it interesting. They went against Davidson, the number 1 seed in the Atlantic 10 tournament, and beat Davidson to punch their ticket to the NCAA tournament. If they didn't win the conference tournament in the Atlantic 10, arguably they would not even be in this tournament. So they beat Davidson, the 1 seed, and they move forward, punch their ticket, get in here, pulled off what some considered an upset in the A10, and now pull off an upset of the Iowa Hawkeyes. Your Richmond Spiders moving on. The Atlantic 10, even though teams have changed and gone in and out of the A10, that conference is still exciting. It is still vibrant. It is still incredible. And Richmond is an example of that in the biggest of ways, winning 67-63 over the Iowa Hawkeyes. 5th seeded Iowa, 12th seeded Richmond. And you know what? I think it's like there's a record that it's 100 something. I don't know if it's like 103-51 or something like that. But if there's 100 wins for 5 seeds, there's like 50 something for 12 seeds. Like it's halfway there. That's how dangerous the 5 versus the 12 is. It's not like 200-0 or 180-1. It's literally like, okay, we get 100 wins, you get 50. So, you know what I mean? It's like looking at that and what that all means. A third so if you put it all together in the games, a third, right, is going. So seeing what's going on in this has been incredible. A third of it, right? Because if there's 150 games between 5 and 12 seeds, 50 going to the 12 seed, then a third of the time. That's a good number. That's a good number, okay? Because normally the seed, and people say higher, lower. I know, like, I say higher like numbers counting up, but for the sake of the argument, like if you're a seed, right, if you're a lower number, right, if you're a 1, 2, or 3, 4, or 5, chances are 6 usually too. I mean, but if you're a 1, 2, 3, 4, if you're a 1, 2, 3, you're supposed to win every time. If you're a 4 or 5, you're, pretty much supposed to win most of the time. And Richmond, once again, has shown us this 5-12 matchup is so exciting and so much fun. They got the dub. Congratulations to them in the Midwest region, putting that work in, and I'm loving it here. The game ended here with, in the second half, seeing the Richmond Spiders take care of business as we take a look at where Richmond was sitting at in the grand scheme of things here. And so as the game began, we look at this, and the first to score was Richmond on a Tyler Burton made layup. And then when you go into the second half of the game, I mean, Richmond here going into the second half, they were leading 29-28. And they just stayed with it, stayed on it. They did lose the lead at certain points, and they fought to get it back. And they were able to, they lost the lead for a bit. They got it back with 14:32 left to go in the game, 40-39. And when they got that lead back, it was close. It stayed close. It was a dogfight all the way through, and they found a way to get it done. Once they got that lead back, 40-39, they never gave it up again, no matter how close it got. And it got within a couple points with less than 10 seconds to go, and they were able to take the game and get the victory. So a huge win for them, incredible win for them, that this game stayed very close, very late, within a couple possessions, if not a couple points here. And the Richmond Spiders taking down the Iowa Hawkeyes, and Richmond moving on as the 12 seed. Well, we talked about 5-12 matchups, and those 5-12 matchups continue to impress as the New Mexico State Aggies, folks, get it done themselves against UConn, another 12 versus a 5 seed, respectively. Now, I thought UConn was going to have enough, right? UConn, I went to go see them in the Big East tournament. They're doing some good things. They're back in the Big East. It makes more sense now. Life is making more sense seeing them there. So my thought in my head was, okay, you see a team like UConn, they were able to put it on. A team like Seton Hall, they were able to push and really create for themselves opportunities to get somewhere. They made games interesting. And ultimately, I thought that the work that UConn had put in the Big East could help to propel them to do some good things here in the tournament. Because you look back to the Big East itself and what UConn did in the Big East tournament, they lost to Villanova 63-60. 63-60 they lost to Villanova before Villanova went off and faced Creighton. So, if you're giving Villanova all that heat, and Villanova I think is a very dangerous team in this year's tournament, then you see the New Mexico State Aggies and you say to yourself, okay, well, UConn should be able to at least get through this one, right? Nope. New Mexico State, 27-6 on the season. They win 70-63 in this game over UConn. Shout out to New Mexico State. For those of you that don't know New Mexico State, they won their conference tournament, and the New Mexico State Aggies are in the WAC. So the WAC conference, and when you look at this matchup here, New Mexico State, like Richmond, ironic here, kind of cool, is that, they won the game as the underdog, and they were the first to score, just like Richmond was, and it was a jumper by Clayton Henry of New Mexico State that put them up 2-0. At the half, we saw that New Mexico State was leading UConn 32-22, and they had a jumper with 40 seconds to go from Teddy Allen, leading by 10 over UConn at the break. And as we go through this here and take a look at if there was any moment of closeness, there was some time where, UConn was able to get it within a couple possessions. With 9:29 to go, they had it down to 47-43. Then they would make it 47-46 with 8:20 to go. Very, very close game here. Got it within 1 point or 2 points multiple times. Also had its a tie game when Tyrese Martin hit 2 free throws with 5:08 to go at 52 apiece. But they were never able to take the lead away. And they tied it again with 2:06 to go with Isaiah Whaley making a layup assisted by Andre Jackson, 58 all. But they never took the lead in the second half. So tied it down the stretch a couple times, never took the lead. So something to be said there. Multiple ties in this game. And the last time that they had led it in the game, UConn led with 8:46 left in the first half. They led 14-12. That's the last time that they led the game. So that, again, was with 8:46 left in the game. So for the final 28-plus minutes, the game was led by New Mexico State. And despite UConn pushing, just like Iowa did down the stretch, New Mexico State Aggies, like the Richmond Spiders, never, ever gave up on themselves, never backed down, never thought the moment was too big for them, and they took care of business. Good morning to Mom as well, as we got a message here from Mama. So, final one to mention here, St. Peter's. How about those Peacocks, right? It makes me think of, and I got to put this up today, but Will Smith in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air with him and Carlton when their school is the Peacocks of ULA. And, the Peacocks were marching down the field, Peacocks. It's that is what I think of when I think of this. And I think of Carlton dressed up as the Peacock. I love it. So, and I mean it in the greatest of ways. I love Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, so I'm not making fun of the Peacocks at all. I'm honestly thinking that's the perfect GIF to put up. I call them GIFs, not GIFs. I don't care what you think of that. So with that being said, I want to go to the team that broke the bracket more than any other team in the round of 64, St. Peter's Peacocks, 85-79. They forced overtime and got the victory over Kentucky. If you look at St. Peter's in their season this season, St. Peter's tested themselves by playing the St. John's of the world and the VCUs of the world, and they played Providence and whatnot, and tried to, get themselves out there and see what they could do out of conference. Didn't have any big out of conference wins, didn't win any of those games, and inside of their conference did not play a ranked team. This was the first ranked team they played all season was Kentucky. And this is why it's basketball. Like their coach said, it doesn't matter, okay? It doesn't matter who they are. It matters who you are. It doesn't matter who they are. It matters who you are. You can't control who they are. Kentucky comes in, they get their one and dones, they got all their people, they got everything that they need, right? Top in recruiting, John Calipari, grease oil salesman, goes out there, this, that, and the other, wheeling and dealing, bringing these players in, sending them to the NBA, 6 of them in the first round a few years ago. None of that matters. It doesn't matter because at the end of the day, it's about, and I wanted to keep, and I'm here hanging out in studio, and I'm like, I'm getting so animated, I should flip back the screen here, but I wanted to keep their logos up for as long as possible because it's about them, not me. Our top dogs of the week, the Richmond Spiders, the New Mexico State Aggies, and the St. Peter's Peacocks. St. Peter's coming from the MAC is what I call it, because there's the MAC, the MAC, and there's the MAAC, the MIAC. So, and not the MIAC, the MAC, because of there's a little more than. And so in the MAC, which I love because good friend of mine, Mike Kitts, covers the MAC as the coordinator of officiating. He had been overseeing that for such a long time in the MAC, and seeing St. Peter's and getting to know these teams. Some people didn't even know St. Peter's was a school. That's the beauty of this. It puts them on the map. It helps them in recruiting. It helps them in bringing in students, student athletes. It helps them with selling their merchandise. It helps them when people go into their website and their social media. Winning a game like this, one game in the history of mankind, will do so much for St. Peter's University that it's incredible. And it was in the hands of these players, and they took care of business. They didn't let anybody tell them who they are, and they won this game. And I'm not a big fan of Kentucky. And I don't think Kentucky's, I didn't have them going that far this year. To me, Kentucky's not what they used to be. But ultimately, I had them winning this game. I did. I'm not going to, lie about that by any stretch of the imagination. Unlike the other two teams that pulled off the big-time upsets of the round of 64 day one, this was different. Kentucky was the first to score in this game. But Daryl Banks dunked the ball with 17:11 left in the first half. Daryl Banks the third to tie the game at 2. But looking at this, the first lead that was ever had by St. Peter's against Kentucky was when they led 8-7, also by Daryl Banks the third, who made a three-pointer with 15:06 left in the first half. So this lead was going back and forth, back and forth. It got taken by St. Peter's with 14:06 by Jalen Murray, who made a three-pointer that made the game 11-9. And when they took that advantage, they were able to hold on to it until 8:49 left in the first half, when Kentucky took it back on a Jacob Toppin dunk that made it 22-20, and then it tied immediately by St. Peter's from Daryl Banks III on a made jumper. Big time in this game, of course. And then we saw St. Peter's play from behind. They kept it close, kept it within a point or two, but they played from behind in the first half here and tied the game with 3:01 left to go. Jalen Murray had a layup that made it 35 apiece, and then the game would go into halftime tied. Nobody would score after 1:07 left to go in the first half, as we saw St. Peter's tie the game at 37 going into the break. And then after that, St. Peter's comes out of this thing. They go down by 1 immediately when we have one made free throw from Kentucky, 38-37 the score makes. And then we see the lead taken back by St. Peter's on Daryl Banks. Stop me if you've heard this, or his name, in this broadcast. Daryl Banks, the third three-point jumper that made it 40-38. Then they go down again. They go down by 5 a couple different times here. They're playing from behind, St. Peter's is, and St. Peter's ties it with 9:48 left to go. Daryl Banks, the third made jumper, cut and paste. Man's been incredible in this game. Jalen Murray as well makes a three-pointer, take the lead 53-52. And then that lead would be rescinded when Wheeler made a jumper at 8:08 left to bring Kentucky up 56-55. Then the lead would go back on Doug Eddert's made free throw that gave them the lead. He had 3 made free throws when he was fouled shooting a 3, 58-56. Then there's a tie again, and a tie later on here with 6:23 left at 60. Kentucky would take the lead back on Wheeler's free throw, 61-60, and then we would see St. Peter's play from behind, go down by 6 with a few minutes left to go, and continue to fight back. Doug Edert would make a three-pointer, 69-68 with 1:26 to go. And then we would see Edert tie the game on a jumper with 24 seconds remaining to bring them into overtime at 71 apiece. And then after that, Kentucky would take the immediate, about a minute into overtime's 5-minute period. Kentucky would take a 2-point lead, and we would see the Peacocks tie the game by Edert with 2:41 left to go. on a three-pointer that made it 75 apiece. The game would tie again. The first lead from the Peacocks in overtime would come with 1:45 left to go, as Daryl Banks III would make 2 free throws to take a 77-76 lead. They wouldn't look back after that. Kentucky would not score after their three-pointer from Ty Washington Jr. with 23 seconds to go. When they got to 79, they would not score after that. And from there, we saw the Peacocks go to the charity stripe, knock down their free throws. They end the game with 4 made free throws in a row to win the game 85-79 as the Peacocks, the 15 seed. Here's the irony. In a year where Richmond wins, who was a 15 seed over 2 seeded Syracuse, in a year on the day where Richmond wins and advances forward, another 15 seed does it. St. Peter's takes down the mighty Kentucky. UMBC, the only 16 seed to ever do it, took down the reigning champion, number 1 overall seeded Virginia a couple seasons back. And UMBC congratulated St. Peter's, said welcome to the club. Amazing to see something like this. And the tournament has just begun. I thought this year, like I said, more than any other year, was a year where literally anybody can win. And I am ecstatic that that has not disappointed. In the round of first day of the round of 64, it hasn't disappointed. So very excited. Speaking of not disappointing, the Pacer Pride special you're about to hear is coming up with Sister Mary Persico, and this will not disappoint by any stretch of the imagination, with an amazing conversation about to be had momentarily, but not before, one more time, we congratulate our top dogs of the week. Mexico State Aggies and the St. Peter's Peacocks for getting it done. Shout out to each and every one of you, and God bless, and let's continue forward and continue to make March so mad in a good way. And of course, I want to throw one out there for the women's Division I tournament. Number 16 seed Albany Great Danes with Gina Castelli and crew. Go out there and beat number 1 Louisville, and let's continue to make March incredibly awesome and exciting, as I love this tournament, one of my favorite times of the year. With that being said, we'll take a step aside for a fast break, and when we spin back around, Sister Mary Persico will be joining the show here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for a presidential spotlight, getting to know the leader behind Marywood University. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life. That's a very, very different experience than you will have at any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora in this Pacer Pride exclusive special. Sitting down here with Sister Mary Persico of Marywood University, and as you know, Pacer Pride is here with you every single month on Fridays between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Sister Mary, thank you so much for being here.
Dan, so happy that I'm here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, and your story, and I've gotten to do a little bit of background on where you've come from and different things that you've been able to do. I'd love to go back to kind of being a kid in the sense of it and the Catholic side of things, having God in your life and having faith guide you. Why has that been so important to you since you were young?
Well, it's interesting. I grew up in an Italian home and in an Italian neighborhood, and our church was within walking distance of our home, and our Catholic school was in walking distance of our home. And it was a very important part of our lives, and especially my father. He was very Catholic. He was very dedicated to his faith, and even though he was a public school teacher, he was one of these guys who went to Mass every morning, and he really lived his faith in everything that he did. So that became a part of my life. So I've always been attracted to the faith. Sometimes I'm not happy with the way it's going, but for the most part, I live my faith and I'm proud of it.
And when you have those moments, because I think it's important to speak on that, when there are those challenges in faith, how do you navigate your way through that?
That's a great question. What I do is I go back to the scriptures, and I know that we are guided by the life of Jesus, and so it's sort of simple, what would Jesus do, but it's an interesting way to live your life. And so when I meet up with these challenges, which are frequently these days, I say to myself, listen, my faith is not dependent upon the things that I'm happy or not happy with. My faith is dependent upon what I read and study and learn and pray about in the scriptures, and that's what guides me and leads me.
Do you have a favorite scripture passage or two that really is something that you can go back to when you need, in the moment, something to uplift you?
I don't know if it's on my wall right now, but yes, it's right over there. I have a picture of the Good Samaritan. And I really believe that is a scripture passage that really leads me a lot, because, I think of that story about the person who was on the wayside and was about to die, and people passed them by, and people in our society who we think of as, people who would stop and help somebody, like a priest or Levi in the case of that story in the scriptures, just walked by, and it was a Samaritan who stopped and said, look, how can I help you? And I think we need to be Samaritans in our lives, and we can't decide who needs our help or who doesn't. We have to just see the needs of people, and we have to help them.
You know, and in the world that we live in today, I think it's imperative, and I, growing up Catholic, being strong in my faith, talking to God every day, the parallel that you and I have that faith guides us,
Mm-hmm.
how do you view the world through the eye of faith right now, knowing that, I don't know if you agree with this, but I feel like it's becoming ever more challenging sometimes to see the God in things that are going on and see the God in others when negativity seems to get the front page of everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a tough one. It's hard to see the God in some people. And I have to keep thinking about myself and the fact that I'm not perfect. And sometimes people maybe will look at me and try to see the God in me and not see it. Not see God in me because of what I'm doing or saying. So I have to look to myself, not to look to other people and say, you know, if you want to see the God in other people, then people have to see the God in you. So that's how I think about it.
And I think that's an incredible way to live your life. We had spoken off the air about your first opportunity, and it was in my neck of the woods.
Yeah, how about it?
So to share what you took away from that opportunity that you had in Syracuse.
Well, my first assignment as a sister was to teach in Syracuse, New York. And that's not too far from here, a couple hours.
Mm-hmm.
And I went there with some trepidation. It's the first time I taught. It's the first time I had my own classroom, an assignment, and some responsibilities. And to this day, I have good friends who were in those classrooms. And it is an experience that has really always stayed very close to my heart. And so I loved being a teacher, and that's where I learned how to do it. And I will never forget that, and I'll never forget the people of Syracuse in that lovely town. I just love it.
And it's almost a direct, straight line from Syracuse down to Scranton. And I've made the trip, I don't even know how many times at this point.
Me too.
and so to have, you know, where you were and where you are and started everything in Hazleton, you've had kind of this triangle of movement. As you look back on that, to start in Hazleton, have your first opportunity at teaching in Syracuse, and now be here as the president of Marywood University, what can you say about the triangle of life, so to speak?
You know, I think life takes us in lots of different places, but, you know, we take ourselves there. And so whoever we are, what the person that each one of us is the person that goes wherever we go. And we take our qualities, our values, our faith, whatever it is within us, we take with us. And so I think what I learned in Hazleton, in that little town where people knew each other, where faith was strong, where life was happy and carefree, where people were optimistic, is what I take with me now, wherever I go. I've been really, literally all over the world. And I take myself with me, and I think that's really important.
When you take yourself with you, like you said, wherever you go, there you are, essentially.
That's right.
What would you consider to be your best qualities, the things about you that when you take you with you wherever you go are the pillars of you, who you are, your foundation, so to speak?
It's hard to talk about your good qualities. I could tell you all the bad things about me. But I think one of the things that people have reflected to me, and since they have reflected that to me often, I'm going to accept it, is that I listen to people, and that I think I'm kind of a down-to-earth person, and I accept everyone for who they are, you know, who he is, who she is, because, you know, we all brush our teeth every day. We all do the same thing every day, and no one's better than anyone else. And I learned that from my mother a long time ago, that, you're not better than anyone else, you're not worse than anyone else. You're just like others, that I don't see anyone as other than myself.
Leadership, how do you try to let that kind of ripple effect through this campus at Marywood University, that you lead as we are all equal, we all have the same human rights, we all brush our teeth. So how do you express that and make sure that that is an embodiment of Marywood University and that it goes outside of this room?
Well, one of the things I like to do, and people say, why do you do this, is I like to respond to everyone who reaches out to me. So students will reach out to me, and so I like to answer them. I like to think that I answer every student who writes to me or who wants to see me and wants to come and visit me. And I like to not only be in my office and talk to people, but I like to go out on campus. And as I see people on campus, I love to talk with them, see what's going on in their lives. And often they tell me, what's not so good about their lives. And if it's something I can change or influence in some way, I try to do that. So I think a good leader, listens to the people around him or her.
When we got to meet for the first time, that's what I had said to you off camera, was that what I took away from that is that you do care. Because we interacted, and within minutes someone else comes up and you introduce me as if we had known each other for a while. This is Dan, this is what he does for us, this is his connection to Marywood, this is when he graduated. You listened right off the bat, and you were able to express that immediately, because some people say that they listen, and then there's people that actually listen and take an appreciation for it or a desire to know more. That is something that I would say, and I know you said it's hard to talk about yourself, but why I'm sitting here with you today is because of the leader that you are.
Thank you.
And I respect the fact that in my brain, meeting thousands of people from all over the place, you think that with some people in a high place of power, such as a president, that you get the shake hand and see you later, or great to see you, and not the one-on-one interaction where there's quality minutes there. And I think that you need to be commended for the fact that the reason why I think leadership is in your blood is because you care enough to know how people's days are going. And what you said, I like to go out and meet the students, but at the same time you said, if I can help, then I try to. So you're not just there to say hello, you're there to say hello, to listen, and then to do something about it and have action. And I think those three things together are what makes a good leader. Somebody who's willing to leave their office, willing to go out and speak, but then at the same time when someone says I'm not having a good day, that you don't just go, oh, well, I hope it gets better, but that you take the time to actually make a point to do something positive in somebody's life.
Thank you. Well, I think we need to do that for each other. That's really important. So,
for you, leadership-wise, was there anyone as a mentor growing up that you look back to and say, this person has really inspired me, or even someone now who you like to reflect upon?
I don't know if it's any one person, but I do think that the sisters, when I came here to Marywood, the sisters did things that just turned my head. I remember in the summertime, one of the sisters said to me, we go up north of here into the country and we teach migrant workers at night. We sit with the children and we teach them, about their faith, and we sing songs with them and play games with them. And, their parents have been working in the fields all day, and we like to do that to help them feel welcome. And, that's something I never would have thought of. And that was the kind of leadership that I saw in the sisters. They didn't just talk about doing stuff, they did it. And then they invited people. It wasn't like, you have to do this. It was, why don't you come along? And it's the kind of leadership that I saw in them and still see in them that really attracted me to the whole area of leadership. And then I went on to study it when I got my doctorate. And, leadership is really an art. I think a lot of people think they can just do it, but that's not true. It's an art.
In that art, when you have an open canvas and you're painting your life with your own paintbrush, what would you say are the important foundational pieces of being a leader?
Well, first of all, I think, as we talked about this a little bit, it's about trying to lift people up.
Yeah.
Leadership is not having power. Leadership is really trying to lift people up. It's also understanding your limitations. I'm not the smartest person in the room ever. And when I'm in a room full of people, whether it's students or faculty or staff or other administrators, I know that there are lots of people in that room more smart than I am, and they have the answers. And if we all talk through things, we're going to come to those answers, and they're going to be the right answers. And so I think one of the best qualities of leadership is knowing that you don't have the answers, and that if you listen long enough, people are going to bring the answers to you, and that's going to be the solution as opposed to making a decision on your own.
I think you just said how to solve a lot of the world's problems. To listen to each other and realize that we don't know everything about everything. You brought up the sisters. I know that you served as president of the Congregation of Sisters.
You know a lot, Dan.
No, but for the Congregation of Sisters, the Servants of the Immaculate Heart of Mary, and then also serving as treasurer as well. Being president of the Congregation of Sisters as well as a treasurer, when you get to work so closely with these, the Immaculate Heart of Mary, this group of incredible people that are connected right here on campus to us, I know you spoke about leadership and learning that from them. What other pieces did you take from being around this group and the leadership that you had to take in this group as president as well as working in the treasury?
One of the things that I learned from the sisters a long time ago is humility. I remember one time one of our sisters died, and we were at the Mother House at the IHM Center up the road, and we were, waiting to start her funeral. And all of a sudden, a bus pulled up. And in that bus was the bishop of the diocese where she had worked, and a whole bunch of people from that diocese. And we were like, what are you doing here? And they said, we had to come. And they spent the day with us telling us about all the things that this sister had done to lift people up, to serve people, to help people, to make their lives better. We never knew that about her, but she took that leadership. She was just a humble person, and she took that leadership and ran with it, and she didn't care that anybody knew or didn't know. She just knew she had to do that. And I kept seeing that over and over and over again with our sisters. And I know something about every single sister in our congregation, and I'm proud to know them, and I'm proud to know what they've done in the world. So it was a great joy and honor for me to be the president.
You bring up knowing something about each of them, and both, you and I having this Catholic faith, Our Lady of Pompeii, which I had mentioned to you before. I have never forgotten one of my, if not my favorite sister growing up, was Sister Teresita, and she just, everything about her was good. And you embody that, and you don't forget it. I'm going back at 36 years old, I'm thinking about, second grade, third grade, being with her reading to us. And there is so much to be said about the beautiful faith that we have. Do you see that faith vibrant here on campus? Do you see that living in here at Marywood, that there is this equality, there's inclusion, there's the need for community? Does faith move you here on campus?
Absolutely, and it moves our students, which is really touching to me. Last week was spring break, and some of our students went on service trips, and one group went down to Tennessee, and they gave up their spring break to offer service, and it was a matter of faith. They did it because it was campus ministry that was saying, we want you to come on this trip, and they said, we want to go. And they served people down in Tennessee and came back filled with faith, because it wasn't just an exercise in whatever they were doing. They would stop and reflect every day and say, how was this an example of your faith lived loud and clear to the world? And so I see faith lived here every day. I see that our faith lived in the fact that our students respect each other. For the most part, I never hear about bullying or discrimination or anything of that nature, because our students accept each other for who they are. And I'm glad they do, because we really try to drill that into their heads. But I think it's also in their hearts, and that's what's important. It's gotten from their heads to their hearts.
For you to be here, I know we spoke about the Sisters of the Immaculate Heart of Mary, but for Marywood University itself, why do you feel that your leadership here specifically is the right fit?
Well, I think being here is a calling, and leadership in general is a calling. And since I am an IHM sister, and this school was founded by the IHM sisters, and the mission and core values of this school are outgrowths of the mission and core values of the IHM sisters, I think it feels right to be, because I want to serve, I want to be an extension of the IHM sisters here in this university, and I want this university to be an embodiment of who we are as sisters.
Before we finish up here in Pacer Pride with Sister Mary Persico and myself, Dan Tortora, Marywood's athletic side of things is something that I've worked with since really day zero that I got on campus. You have over your shoulder here a Pacer logo. You have been out to numerous events. I was at the golf tournament where I got to speak with you, and at the same time, when I was out and PA announcing for one of the games here recently this past season for men's and women's basketball, that night you came out as well. Why is it so important for you to, I know you said you like to leave this office and go out and see everyone, to be at these events, and did you have a love for athletics, or have you gained an appreciation over time?
Well, first of all, I do have a love for athletics. I mentioned my father earlier. He was the athletic director of our school district, and he dragged me to games as a little kid. But I do love sports, and I love athletics in general. But really the reason I go is so that our students will know that I support them. Because I think if they know that I support them, they will support Marywood in general, and they will support all that we do. There's good things, and there's always, the little problematic things. Some of our students had a little protest a couple of weeks ago, and it was peaceful and it was quiet, but I went out to them when they were doing that, and they know me, and they know that I was at their game the night before, and so I was able to talk to them, and we were able to have a conversation, and that ended it. So I think by supporting them, they know I care about them, and they're more willing to have that give and take to make us better people.
The balance of caring for these students and everyone here that's a part of Marywood University, past, present, and future, leadership and that care, maybe disagreeing but being there. How do you balance that world of I care about you all, this is my point of view? How do you find a way to bring it all together? Because I think the world really needs to hear how you work something out to peacefully understand each other when you may not completely agree.
I think, and I have found this especially with students, if we sit down and talk and we all put our points of view on the table, we can come to some sort of a mutual agreement in the end, some sort of a consensus. And we may end by saying, I don't entirely agree with you, but I can see this point. and we can agree to go forward and at least respect one another's opinion. And I've found that works most of the time, if not all the time.
So, in closing, why Marywood? If someone here is watching, like me years ago, trying to find the right fit, what would you say about why Marywood makes sense, not just with someone's major or for a sport that they want to play, but as a place that can be home for the rest of their life? Why is Marywood different?
You know, I was talking to a student in my office one day, and he told me that the minute he walked on campus as a prospective student, he felt at home. And he said to me, when I think about that, I could almost cry, because once I got here, it was home to me. So what I would say to any prospective student is that we want to make you feel at home here. We want you to be welcome. We want you to belong. But we can also promise that our programs are such that you're going to get a good education here. Mm-hmm. You're going to be able to make a good life with the education that you get. And it's going to be backed up with some terrific values that are going to make you an honest, ethical, and good person. So wrap that all together, and that's Marywood.
Great way to put it. You've been incredible at answering my questions. We do a thing on a Wake Up Call called Rapid Fire. Mm-hmm. I am not going to put you on the hot seat because you've answered my questions, but I'm going to allow the opposite to happen. So you can ask me any two things. This is not pre-planned, but any two questions, and I have to answer them here.
Okay. What did you love about Marywood when you were a student?
Well, more than half the reason, I always say like 70%, if not more of the reason that I came to Marywood was one of the teachers that unfortunately passed away, Jay Hammerin. And when I met Jay, I was with my dad, and we went down to the Performing Arts Center, and we walked in there, and his secretary was there, and she was amazing. And he came out and he said, "You must be Dan Tortora." And I remember looking at him going, why does he know my name? Because you go to different campuses and you're just one of the kids. And when I went to Marywood, it felt like the red carpet. It was, I'm Jay Hammerin, nice to meet you. He knew my name. He brought us around campus himself. And I just remember speaking with him thinking, I really feel like this guy is going to take care of what I want to do. And I matter to him. I've not been a number from the moment that I walked onto campus. So I love that. I also love the fact that I was between two schools, and I had both of, and I still remember this, I was on the floor of the living room of the house I grew up in, and I had both schools' folders in front of me. I didn't know, it was a hard choice for me, and I closed my eyes, and I said, God, just guide me. Please guide me to the right choice, because I don't know what to do. And he showed me two visions, and they came to fruition. He showed me a person, I saw their back, and they were stapling black garbage bags onto the wall in the hallway. And I remember going, who is this person, and trying to look, and I couldn't find out who it was. And then another time I was walking in this vision by the Nazareth Student Center, and I tried to look around the corner, and there was a banner, and he wouldn't let me see the banner. Fast forward, so I opened my eyes, and I put my hand down. When I opened my eyes, I didn't know what was where, and my hand was on Marywood. I came here to campus about 2 weeks, maybe not even, into being here. One of my closest friends to this day, shout out to Steve Stahl. Steve was the guy that was stapling trash bags for Halloween.
Oh my goodness.
And when I walked down Nazareth, I went, hold on a second. And I walked down and I went like this, and I go, so that's the banner you wouldn't let me see? And it was hanging right on the other side. So, I think God helped to lead me here as with anything. I loved the way I was treated. And, I got an experience when I applied for News Channel 9 in Syracuse to work with them on an internship. They said, have you edited before? And I was like, I've edited, I've run camera, I've directed, I've produced, I do this, I do, and I had like 9 things, and they're like, well, you're kind of overqualified for what we need you to do. And I just remember really appreciating the fact that Marywood helped to set me up.
That's great.
You know, I mean, I started my career down the road here at ESPN and Time Shamrock Communications, and 10 years this year I'll, have owned my own business. So without Marywood University and the education and the adversity and the challenge, I wouldn't be exactly who I am today. So Marywood is incredibly important to me.
Wow. Okay, my second question might be piggyback to this one. Okay, and we have part of our branding. We say, identify your passion, find your purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So when you come here to Marywood, we hope that you say, wow, this is my passion, and I'm going to find my purpose in that. What do you think is your purpose in life?
I think my purpose bonds to my passion. My passion has always been to create a positive, exciting, and fun experience for people. And so I think my purpose from God is to bring people together. I love making people laugh. I love to sing. I love to tell stories. I love to write. And actually, I wear my Marywood ring all the time, and people always ask if this is a championship ring. I said it's a Renaissance ring. I said I wanted it to look like a Super Bowl ring. And on the top of it, with the green for Marywood, and it's my favorite color too, I asked him to put a feather pen. And the feather pen is on the ring because, be it writing a song, writing for my sports broadcasting show here for Wake Up Call, or screenwriting, or anything that I've done, whenever it's come to creating, it was always telling a story. So I wanted a feather pen to remind me why I do what I do. And so I think my purpose is to show God to this world as best I can, make this world small, bring people together, and have it be in such a way that knowing me hopefully can help you to know God, and in knowing God hopefully can help you to deal with whatever's going on.
Excellent. Thank you so much. That's great.
That coming from Sister Mary Persico, came here with us April 2016. The board said yes. July 1st, 2016, she started here her presidency as the 12th president of Marywood University. For Sister Mary and myself, Dan Tortora, this has been a very special Pacer Pride. And from an alum to you, thank you for leading us.
Thank you, Dan. It's been a pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Cafe Cabal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop CafeCabal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Cabal needs. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
This is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, you can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory factory available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you? The Millhouse Market, located on 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York, is worth the drive every time. Make sure you make your way out to the Millhouse Market every Tuesday through Sunday, and you can enjoy the Millhouse Market in so many different ways. Their general store with local products from local companies, paying it forward and helping out the community with local soaps on sale, as well as different things for different sauces and spices for your kitchen needs, as well as honeys, syrups, jewelry, clothing, an amazing general store here in our community inside of the Millhouse Market, and also inside the Millhouse Market, their indoor dining bistro opportunity, and their bistro menu changes every week, so you can come back and try something new, and of course their drive-through window where you can grab your food and go. Millhouse Market app is available for you. Download on the Apple app or Google Play Store. Once you have it, you have everything at your fingertips. Their entire menu, their homemade breads and desserts, quinoa bowls, rice bowls, sandwiches named after the families that helped to settle today's Pulaski, and all of those incredible desserts that continue to push anything. I mean, to me, they every time I see the desserts made by Rebecca Elford and her team, it takes whatever that level is, that heightened level of amazing, and it pushes it to another level, pushes it higher, greater, breaks down the walls of whatever you thought desserts could be. The Millhouse Market for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and treats, all there for you on 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York. Worth the drive every time. With that being said, on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, Cafe Kubal here with you on 3501 James Street, as well as 401 South Salina Street, inside of Golisano's Children's Hospital in downtown Syracuse, on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road, in North Syracuse at Sweetheart Corners in their drive-through location, and at 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, at their giant behemoth of a brown-striped building that I call the Manlius Welcome Center. Make your way out to Cafe Kubal today, and thank you all for your support of local. With that being said, I want to give a shout-out to all of our guests inside of MaandPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin'. A big shout-out to the Annoying Moment of the Week, thanks to Carvel DeWitt. Juanita Ward for joining me for Lead, Learn, Evolve, Adlib, and Deliver is the acronym for LEAD. And a big thanks to Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay for that. The top dog of the week, Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding. We thank them for taking care of our furry-loving family members. And a shout-out to our top dogs of this week, the Richmond Spiders, the New Mexico State Aggies, and the St. Peter's Peacocks, as we enjoy all that has happened here in March Madness already. And an incredible thank you to an opportunity to sit down with Sister Mary Persico, the president of Marywood University, in a very special and presidential Pacer Pride. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, we ask you to tune in every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time with guests all throughout the week, and always bringing you content like the Ingredients to Success, the Annoying Moment of the Week, Lead, Top Dog of the Week, fantasy football, and so much more. You'll find Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on YouTube.com, Facebook.com, and MixLR.com, all /WakeUpCallDT. You'll also find us on WakeUpCallDT.com, and of course on Facebook.com /LiveNowDT. Once the shows go live, you can find them on Stitcher, Spotify, MixLR, YouTube, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Podbean, and more. All you have to do is go and search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on any one of these platforms, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. Proud thanks to all of our Central and Upstate New York partners and beyond. A big shout out to Cafe Kubal, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, PB&J's Lunchbox, Canine Kampground Dog Boarding, Avicoli's, Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. Go to maandpazpopcorn.com and get your popcorn ready and kettle corn and all their treats. I'm telling you, folks, it is the beginning of March Madness. Do not waste time. Go to maandpazpopcorn.com, order your favorites, try something new, have them send it to you right to your doorstep, and you will be watching the tournament the right way, in my opinion. The Millhouse Market, Honda City of Liverpool, Pizza Man, Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, and Mother's Cupboard. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is also the proud multimedia marketing partner of your Lemoyne College Dolphins. The Lemoyne College Dolphins are here with us every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time for Dolphin Time. First and third Wednesday, AD&DT featuring Athletics Director Bob Beretta of Lemoyne and myself, Dan Tortora, a.k.a. DT. You can also find us every second and fourth Wednesday with the Dolphin Dive, diving into the stories of student athletes, coaches, staff members, as well as future Dolphins and alumni. Those stories told in Dolphin Dive every second and fourth Wednesday on Wake Up Call exclusively. Our content for the Lemoyne Dolphins is located on the Lemoyne tab of WakeUpCallDT.com, and that will be updated and upgraded as we go. And of course, you can find them on YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT in our archive of shows with the Lemoyne Dolphins. So make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT. As always, fins up and get more information at LemoyneDolphins.com. As you know from today and all throughout the month, the Marywood University Pacers, also proud multimedia marketing partners of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. In our exclusive partnership with Marywood, we get to bring you the stories of their Executive Director of Athletics, Pat Murphy, student athletes, coaches, and now the President of Marywood University, Sister Mary Persico. Pacer Pride is with us in the second hour of every Friday broadcast between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. Eastern Time, typically around 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time, as the Pacers bring us into the weekend, and we appreciate it so much for all that they've done to lead the charge of positivity, equality, community, and humility. Thank you to Marywood University for all that you do. These exclusive Pacer Prides are available on the Marywood tab on WakeUpCallDT.com. You can also find them by subscribing to our YouTube channel, YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT. Find out more information at MarywoodPacers.com. The Bryan and Stratton Syracuse Bobcats are also proud multimedia marketing partners of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Our exclusive partnership brings you the Bobcat Buzz every single month, featuring the athletics director, assistant athletics director, head coaches, and student athletes of Bryan and Stratton College in Syracuse, promoting all that they've done. They have national championship teams, and the men's and women's soccer team both coming off of championships in 2021. Go and see the content, including our roundtable discussion with Nick Dimitrievsky, as well as Alex Grigorita, Sean Peak, Dan Frasina, and Clay Gagan-Sherman on Facebook, on YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT. Click subscribe for all of our Bobcat content, including that roundtable. You'll also see conversations with the Bryan and Stratton Bobcats women's basketball team and men's basketball team. Plenty more coming up, including, and you can also go back and watch Clay Gagan-Sherman and Dan Frasina go up against myself and Mother's Cupboard owner Pete Green in our food challenge that we did with Bryan and Stratton, and you can see who won that. Great content with the Bobcats, always bringing it. It's Bryan and Stratton in Syracuse. So thank you to the Bobcats. Bobcat Buzz for you on YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT. Click subscribe, and on WakeUpCallDT.com's page BSCSYR, which stands for Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse. Get more information by going to syracuse.bscbobcats.com. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, it's hard for me to bid you adieu, but I have games to watch with less than an hour of another day of my favorite round of March Madness, the round of 64, where I get to watch games from noon until past midnight. And the last game last night, and one of the last games last night went into overtime. So shout out to Murray State in San Francisco, who were insane last night to watch. It was such a great game. So always look forward to enjoying the tournament. The women's tournament tips off as well in the round of 64. Now here, as they had 68, so they did their playing games as well. They're going to be playing today. Albany, shout out to the Great Danes, 16 seed, taking on number 1 Louisville Cardinals. Take a page out of St. Peter's book. Take a page out of UMBC. And remember that it's basketball. It's what you love. It's what you do. Be who you are. Give it all you got. and anything can happen. To the Albany Great Danes, to Gina Castelli, and to everyone, have a fantastic day of March Madness. God bless, no stress, do your best. The morning after the madness will be coming up for you after this weekend. We'll be talking about everything that happened here in the round of 64 and round of 32 storylines. We'll have some awesome guests, and it will be a wonderful time once again to speak with you. So with that being said, on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, find us on Facebook at WakeUpCallDT, the Twitter at CallDT, and Instagram at WakeUpCall_DT. And in the meantime, as always, God bless, no stress, do your best. We'll talk soon. Please have a fantastic weekend.